time. This is a 30-minute webinar. Please be assured that we will follow up with you all by email for all of the questions that you submit. So please take close attention to the information that's about to be presented to you. And let me give Terry the controls here. So change presenter. And let me find Terry in the long list of folks here on our webinar today. Very excited. All right, so all right, Terry, I'm going to make you presenter. I can see your screen. I think you need to put in your audio pin in order for us to hear you. Okay, to go for Terry. Yes, hello, there's Terry. Take it away,
everyone.
sir.
Okie dokie. Well, welcome to the Location Controller Training for Mobile County Schools. We will be recording this webinar for use by your district, and we'll be starting the recording at this time. And thanks to Jen for taking the questions. And then, as she mentioned, if we have time at the end, we'll certainly address them. And if not, we'll provide an email at the end that you can email us. And we'll be glad to help you with whatever you need or whatever questions you might have. To begin, we want to talk about performance series and your role as a location controller. So we know that many of you are desiring to log into your account today and follow along. To do so, you should have received your site ID from the central office. If you did not yet receive that information, please contact Mrs. Ballard at the district office, and she can help you with that. If you don't know your staff or your user ID, you can log into the state teacher certification website at the address listed on the screen. You can put in your name and then search for your teacher certification number, and that will serve as your staff and your user ID for the program. Your password will be the word password and the last 4 digits of your social security number. For example, password 1234, lowercase p in this case. And when logging in for the first time, we ask that you verify you did type out the word password and the last 4 numbers of your social security. If that does not work, you can click on the Forget Password or Forgot Password link, and it could take up to 10 minutes to get a password reset. Don't keep clicking on that link. Clicking multiple times will just clog up the process. And at the conclusion of the webinar, if you still can't log in, contact your district location controller for assistance. The Alabama and Scantron team has developed this Dropbox that is chock full of many resources for you. We'll be referencing this resource several times during our session today. It's not password protected, and it can be accessed at any time. Feel free to bookmark that website for your reference throughout the implementation. It's https://bit.ly/ALSDE Dropbox. So what is your primary role of serving as a location controller for your district or school? The default setting of location controller was set for all principals. The location controller can then go into the site and designate any additional location controllers that they may want to reach out to or to help them manage the site. If they need help in knowing how to do this, they can contact their education specialist, and we will help them in making the necessary changes. We do recommend that there be a limited number of location controllers at the school. For instance, no more than 2 or 3 per school, depending on the size. Once you log into the program, in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you will see a link for documents. To access the documentations, just click on that tab within Performance Series. Once this screen renders, click on the System Requirements link as shown on the lower image on the screen. For data management, so I want to make sure I think there is a system documents. Okay. Alabama gets all the information for its teachers through the Alabama Education Directory and the Alabama Teacher Certification site in iNow. Those three sites have to have the information correct and consistent in order for your staff members to correctly appear within Performance Series. So we will reference that on several occasions if there are issues with your being able to log in or you're not showing up in the site. Location controllers will have full viewing and access rights at the given location, and they will be the ones responsible for managing the Scantron testing. Superintendents and principals will automatically transfer into Achievement Series, Performance Series as location controllers. And as we mentioned before, they can assign others to help them in that role. But we do recommend only 2 or 3 location controllers per building. In addition to the location controller, there are multiple roles within Performance Series. Currently, your school's counselor role is defaulted to data entry. If your counselor needs to view student data, our recommendation is that you reset their role to administrator. We'll discuss how to edit those roles within the site later in this presentation. Administering Performance Series. Administration of Performance Series tests should be taken very seriously. This slide indicates a few steps you should take to experience a positive testing experience. Your students will need the site ID that has been provided to you. Their site ID is their 19 state-issued SSID number that is located within Chalkable's iNow. In getting your computers ready, you want to be sure to turn off any pop-up blockers or screensavers that could hinder the test. It's also recommended that the cache be cleared each day prior to testing on the computer. If you desire to use the test administrator scripts, we have those located in the Dropbox. Performance Series test items have audio-enabled questions for content grades K through 2. Due to this being a computer adaptive test, this read aloud feature is automatic. So headphones should be available for any student in grades K through 5 in math, or any student who's taking the Reading Foundations assessment. We do not recommend any specific brand of headphones. The test administrator scripts can be found within the Dropbox if your school desires to use them. These scripts are grade level based. They're located in the Dropbox folder. Within that Dropbox folder, you can also find testing tips and best practices, guides for best practices should you desire to use any of those. So at this point, we'll begin to walk step by step through the Site Admin tab and the role of the location controller within the site. To access the site login, use your site ID, staff ID, and password, covered earlier during this session. If you do not know any of this information, you can speak directly to your location controller at the school or district level. Once logged in, the location controller can access the Site Admin tab at the top of the screen, and here it is indicated with the red square. Once you click on the Site Admin tab, you'll have full access to the full range of features that the location controller might need to use. You can see the different tasks located on the left side of the screen. We'll walk through each one of these individually. To begin with, the first one under Site Admin is Students. Within this section, you can accomplish several tasks. Note the location controller does not need to create, delete, or transfer students. Scantron will pull data from the iNow database every 24 hours, and this will allow the student data to be updated to the most current information. With this, if a student transfers in or out, the data follows them. This includes all of their testing information. You should expect to see this information pull into the school site within 48 hours of each upload. Note that sometimes student information might not pull into our site, but you might see it within iNow. And that is because one of the most common issues we see with that problem is it's an issue of an E99 code. That means the student was not properly withdrawn from their previous school. So your school will need to talk to the other school to find out why this has occurred. Once this has been cleared up, then the student can pull up and go into our account. They will go properly, into our Performance Series program. The E99 can be located on the Enrollment tab of the Student Demographic page in iNow. So all student information transfers directly into our website, and teacher information transfers from iNow, the Alabama EdDir Education Directory, and the Teacher Certification website. These files are uploaded nightly from a secure site in the Alabama schools into our program, and within 48 hours you should see any changes made show up in our program. And our staff, Scantron staff, works with the ALSDE when issues arise with updated enrollment. Again, if a student is not in your site, please check the E99 status first. Once that's cleared up, they should show up properly within Performance Series. Another option you can do is click on Students and get a list of your students that's not available under the menu for Students. When you click on the list link, you'll be able to see all the students enrolled in your school. There are several ways to sort these. If you look at the top of each column, you see an underlined word or an arrow located next to the header. And if you click on that header, it will sort by that column. For example, you could click on grade and it would sort it from the lowest to highest. You could click on grade again and it would sort from the highest to the lowest. You can click any of those topics at the top of the screen and it should filter for you the ones that are able to be sorted. There's also a link at the top of, it's not showing on this page, where you can go from page to page, because it may take several pages for all of the enrollment of your school to show up on the screen. If you need to search for a specific student and you don't want to filter through an entire listing of students, you can click Search for a student. Some of the best practices for this include typing a first or last name, but not necessarily both. Typing both will limit your search and often will inhibit it. You may also want to search by a student's 19 number. The next section deals primarily with classes within your school site. So let's take a deeper look at this. See, list, create, and delete. Delete. The only time you will use this is if it is pertaining to a class that you create at the school that is not a part of the iNow upload. Do not delete courses that are automatically pulled into the system from iNow. Reminder, our upload will take place, it takes 24 to 48 hours to be seen live within the site. So let's look at these individually. First of all, under classes, let's look at list. When you click on list under classes, it simply lists all the classes that appear in your school site. Please note that we do not pull any classes that are that 800,000 level or higher. That will not appear in the uploaded data from iNow, so those would have to be created by the school. Schools are able to create classes within their site that are not automatically pulled, such as those previously mentioned. Again, there's a document in the Dropbox that will walk you through how to create a class and how to do many of the steps that we've discussed in this training. Don't create a class that is listed in the iNow database that falls below the 800,000 range. If these classes should appear, but if they don't, then contact your educational specialist for assistance. Well, let's take a look at creating classes. For example, why would you want to create a class if they pull in from iNow? Well, I might be a special education teacher, and I want to put all of my students in my caseload in a class so I can pull the data when needed, rather than going from class to class pulling various students. The location controller would need to assist with this task. The teacher could not create a class, only a location controller. So first, they would click on the Create link, and then they would click on the School Created Radio button. When you do this, the next window will prompt you to name the course. In the course name and number, you should select School Created, and then in the section number, give the class a unique name. Select the grade range. In this, we typically select the grades served by the entire school. You can select a period or block, but you're not required to do so. Once you've completed this, you'll then be prompted to identify a teacher. If you are the assigned teacher and the primary teacher, then you would need to select both of these radio buttons. After you've completed this step, then select Next, and you'll be prompted to select the students that you want to enroll in that class. Once you've selected all the students, the final screen will allow you to verify everything before saving. At that point, the special ed teacher with the caseload for this example could go through and see all of her students in one site and in one class. There's another area on your Site Admin tab on the left menu corner, that is Groups. The only function here you have is to list, because the State Department has set up these pre-named groups for use at the school or district level. So let's take a look at some of these. To add students to a group, you would simply click on the group name and then edit the enrollment. For assistance on this task, there is a job aid within the Dropbox under the location folder that walks you through how to do this. The names of these are not able to be changed. They're set by the state. However, you could use them. For instance, you might use a high school feeder group or a district use group to track various things within your system. Maybe you want to group all of your Tier 2 students together and keep them in one group. They will not be removed from their classes. This is just setting up another group to allow you to view the data for those students. All right, for your staff members, you also, on the left side, under staff members, you'll see several things here. This is an area you will frequently use, especially if your staff members forget their login information. So let's pay special attention to this part. We'll spend the bulk of the time in the list category. Here are a few things you need to know about the other three features. Delete. You'll only need to use delete if you've created a staff member who no longer serves in the capacity assigned to them. You may see older staff members within your site that are no longer at your school or have retired or have moved on. In that case, those staff members can be deleted. Usage statistics. This shows you who has logged in previously and the amount of time they've logged in and their most current login. Under that, you see who's logged in, and this shows you who is currently in the live site. You'll see the features listed in the red box, but we'll dig a little deeper into them. The Alabama, if a teacher does not know their staff ID, then you need to train the teachers how to use this site to locate the information on their own. It's the teacher certification site the State Department of Alabama has, and that address is at the top of this slide. Once they get to the T-Cert site for the ALSDE, they can type in their first and last name. You can expand that search to include birthdays if you have a fairly common name. You don't have to include every information there when you're doing the search. Just put in your name and then click search. There will be a number that will appear next to their name once the search is completed. It is their initials and then a series of numbers. Be sure to remind them to verify that that is them. There are times that multiple people might have the same first and last name. So you want to make sure that is the correct teacher certification number for the person that you are working with. On the left menu, the first item under staff members was list. Here, if you click list, you're able to see all of the teachers listed in your school site. Again, the same with column headers. You could sort these as needed. You could sort by all of your teachers or all of your location controllers by clicking position, or if you click on staff, it'll put them all in alphabetical order. Staff members. For staff members who no longer appear at work in your school, there are 4 steps to deleting them from your site. Note that if a teacher is still assigned to your school through Education Directory, that EdDir, even if you delete them, they will come in each night until that is corrected within Education Directory. Because every time we pull in from iNow, that name is going to keep coming into our site. In these instances, corrections would need to be made to the Education Directory listing. Once you've verified your staff roster, take the following steps to delete a staff member. Click on Site Admin at the top screen. Under Staff Members heading, click on Delete. Select up to 5 staff members at a time to delete from the list by clicking the box next to their name. When the warning message appears, and once you've confirmed the accuracy, then you can click OK. The most common task with this page in resetting a staff's password is to change the password. However, you might be asked to help someone recall what their staff ID is as well. You'll see that listed above. Should a staff member have changed their password at a previous login, and now they don't remember their password, either they can click on the Forgot Password link, or you can assist them with resetting the password. You can click on the Security Events tab, and you can tell them if they changed it, because it will show the time or date that that password was changed. Now, to reset a staff member's password, by default, all staff members are password and the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. Enter the new password in the space as indicated on the slide, and then confirm the password. One recommendation we make is that when they create the new password, that they use that same scheme, the word password and the last 4 digits of your social. That will just make it a lot easier for you as a location controller to know everyone's passwords. Though you don't know the numbers, you know how to tell them to get into the site by just using the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. Under Performance Test Admin, you may need to be in that location. You are able to view and see what students have tested, who has completed tests, or maybe even who started a test but is not yet completed. Under the Performance Test tab that you see here in the red box, you'll be able to look into your students' testing status. At the top of the screen, we mentioned this one before, but when you see the Documents word, if you click on that link, there are numerous help documents there for you. On the left, we've highlighted the documentation library. When it opens, there will be all types of help files there for you, training materials. And to access that, you just click on the right side of the screen, open documentation library, and it will open. Remember, we also have the Location Controller Toolkit. This is something for Alabama educators that they can get to by going to the Dropbox. The Dropbox is, there's the address https://bit.ly/ALSDE Dropbox. Here's an example on these 2 screens what you could see within that Dropbox. First, you would click on Performance Series, and then there is a folder called Location Controller Information. And in there, I would see how-to documents and PowerPoints. If I click on how-to documents, on the right side of the screen, you see some of the documents you can find here. These are going to be short 1 or 2 page documents that are quick and easy for you to pull up and usually address one specific topic. So you don't have to read through pages and pages of information searching for what you want. You just click on that subject, pull it up, and there will be a quick guide to get you to the information that would be helpful for you. Okay, support for educators. If you look at the 3rd thing down, we see the education specialist, and that's me, Terry Grissom, and there's my email address that you can reach out to me for help. But let's look at the chain of, that might be followed when looking for support. The contact chain should originate with the school location controller. If they're not able to help or provide the answer, then go to the district location controller. If they're still not able to help, then go to the designated education specialist. Your district team will be working very closely with the Scantron team to assist you with the implementation of Performance Series. Your district will be receiving in-depth performance series training during the week of September 11th. At this time, you'll become champions of performance series. If you have questions during the administration of these tests, reach out to the Assessment and Accountability team, or the Assessment and Accountability Office of your system. Our Scantron Tech Support team is also available to assist you at the number listed on the screen or via the email address that you see here. Feel free to contact us should a need arise or you need help. We are happy to answer any questions you might have, and if you prefer, you can email your questions to Ms. Ballard, and she will collect them for us to respond via email. So on behalf of the Alabama Scantron team and your district team, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day here at the start of school to attend this webinar. We hope you have a great rest of the day and a great year. And Jen, I'm going to turn it back over to you. We've got about 3 minutes left to see if there's any questions that have come in that we could help with.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Really well done. Folks, at this time, if you want to use your question box in your little GoToWebinar kind of toolbox there should be a question area that you can type your questions in. I've only received one question so far, which was regarding whether the word password was capitalized or not for the password, and actually it is not capitalized. So it's the word password and the last 4 digits of the teacher's social security number, all lowercase, no space. Okay, so we have a few more questions coming in. Alicia says accountability grade, and Terry, I'm going to throw that to you.
Accountability grade.
I believe she's referring to the grade levels that are to be tested.
Okay.
I hope I'm, yes, what grade level? Thanks, Alicia.
Okay, great. And that we know for sure that 3rd through 8 math will be tested, grades 3 through 8. We know grades 3 through 8 reading will be tested. And for comprehensive science, I would have to look back at our list and see it will not be all of those grades. And I will have to pull up that for you. We could get that to the system after. Yeah, right. I would hate to give you the wrong thing because I think that has changed a couple of times. So
actually, Ms. Ballard I was just going to say, Ms. Ballard just pinged me. She said science grades 5 and 7 are going to be required.
There
Thanks,
you
Ms.
go.
Ballard.
Thank you so very much. So thank you. Yes. So reading 3 through 8, math 3 through 8, and 5 and 7 science. Thank you.
Ms. Ballard also wanted to let you all know that they're working on the site IDs, and they'll have those sent out hopefully this afternoon. So if you're wondering, where's my site ID? It's coming. So stand by for that email. Practice materials. Terry, do you want to speak to any kind of like prep or practice for the students? Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, if you're talking about how to practice with the test itself, is that what you were asking about? I guess
resources.
the user might be.
I'm looking at Ms. Farrell.
When your students log in, they will see the test. They'll see a screen where they pick the test that they're going to take, whether it's math or reading. The instructions are going to be fairly easy, very simple for them to follow on answering the questions. However, when you first log in, before they take the test, at the bottom of the screen, there's a button called TEI Demo, Technology Enhanced Items Demo. And that would allow some practice with the technology enhanced items. For instance, if a student looks at a question and is not sure what to do because maybe it's using hot text or a drop-down menu, or where you have to click on something within the program that's different from multiple choice, taking that technology enhanced demo might help them feel comfortable about being able to answer the questions as they come up on the screen. Other than that, most of the questions you'll see will be multiple choice, and they would be answered by using the mouse and clicking the button. Or you can also use your keyboard for the answer. For instance, if you had A, B, C, D, and you want to pick C, you could type C on the keyboard if a student is better at doing that than using the mouse. So as far as taking a practice test, that's not really available, but you could do that demo just to give them a sense of the way that questions might be presented to them.
That's perfect, Terry. And I also want to communicate from Ms. Ballard, and I'm sure all this will go out in an email so nobody panics, but Mobile County is using performance series as a universal screener. So students in grades 1, 2, and 9 will also need to be tested in the fall window in reading and math. And grades K through 2, I believe, are going to be tested in reading foundation. So just FYI, that probably will be coming out as well from the district, but just that's the plan as of right now. I just got that. So, okay, so another question, while we're almost finished here, I don't want to take up too much more time. We have a lot of questions that we can follow up with from email. Let's see. I just saw one. They're coming. They're flying in. Oh, here. Don't create a class below the 8,000 number. What does that mean? Terry, you want to take that real quick?
Yes. Within iNow, most every course that you teach in the school is going to appear in iNow. If right now you go into that iNow program and that's where you put in your attendance and your grades, then you're safe on that. There is, or rather there are courses that sometimes schools will create or districts create that are at a 800,000 level where that number is going to be 800,000 or higher. And those courses are not in iNow. So those courses would have to be put in by the school. And to be very honest with you, I'm not even sure what an example of a core class would be like that. Ms. Ballard might, or someone who works with your iNow program. But if it's one of those specific course that your school uses or a class that not everyone else in the state uses, then that would be the kind of course that you might see there if it's something specially unique to your system.
That's what I've seen, Terry, back in the day when I worked on this account. It was like study halls or enrichment periods, like things that were kind of not very non-academic. So. Okay, that is all the time we have for today. Please keep sending your questions to Ms. Ballard or the folks at the district level. We will put together an FAQ type response for you all. We have about 20 questions here in the chat, about 15 of which we need to answer after this webinar. So thank you guys so much for your time today. And like Terry said, please have a wonderful year. Stay tuned for more information as it becomes available. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.